J Jinx!
Truck stop!
I'm still around. Haven't posted for a while. Here's the story. A buddy of mine was traveling internationally while he was away. Someone who he lent his car to crashed his car. And when he got back, he was in one state, needed to get home in another state. So we were planning on hanging out, but he was carless. So I took some time off and said, you know what?
I'll give you a ride.
I don't think anyone will get that reference. And on my way back, I made a pit stop at Blade HQ, or one of their places. So I bought a bunch of stuff. And they have Blade HQ blue bags, too. Now, for those of you who have not... Oh, the color just got weird. Been to that Blade HQ location before, the way it works is you walk in, there's a kind of a front desk area, display cases with knives and stuff. You tell them what you want and they go and look for it in their warehouse. So what I usually do is I come up with a whole list of knives, and they'll go back and have like maybe a quarter of them in the warehouse. Their system is not very organized. They're like, yeah, we should have that one. They come back, they're like, nope. So I just make a whole list. They go away, they come back, and I just buy whatever they had available at the time. I've been wanting to get one of these for quite a while, or something like it. This is the location in their warehouse where they got this, B38. So that's what that is. It's a knife made by Kaiser. Check out the logo. Notice it's colorful. Yes, this is one of their Mexican blanket series, or actually they call it the srk-c series. I guess that's a proper term. Haven't really opened these up and played around with them too much. This is not going to be a review video, just a kind of an unboxing, first impressions. Check out this case. It reminds me of like a camera case, back when cameras were this big and a thing. It's a really nice case. I mean, you got lots of loops on the back. Well, 3 big ones, and 2 little ones flapping out here. You got the srk-c pattern right here. Looks pretty cool. The Kaiser logo, a couple of nylon stretchy pouch things on the side. Pretty heavy duty zipper. That is never gonna bind or break. And inside we have a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, and there's a pouch in the front too, which has a card. Action for you. Basically, it's like, take a picture doing stuff with your knife, you can win something. No, I don't care. Here is what's in the packaging. I have not dug through all of this stuff yet. So, yep, got more. Yeah, and I think that's it. And on the inside, you have like a little compartmentalized pouch in there too. Don't know what I would put in here though. I guess for travel, toiletries or something. Anyway, let's start with the actual knife. It's a little one. This knife is called the Mini Bay, designed by Liz and Azo, model V2583C1. 154 cm blade, of course, black, srk-c G10 and steel liner, and it's a little ovular, kind of pill-shaped knife. You got a hint of a flipper thing, kind of not rounding, but squaring off the round edge up here. And it's a short, stubby, reverse tanto, perhaps. And it's one of those lock mechanisms where it's like sort of a slip joint. There's a piece of sprung steel with a bearing that sticks into the blade, so you can do this. After it breaks in. There you go. Yeah. Gotta get the oil flowing a bit. And the G10 scales have this cool pattern. This is why I bought this knife. Didn't pay a lot for it. What did I pay for it? Okay, a little more than I remembered. I got it for $50. And look at all the extras. So we got the Kaiser manual catalog thing, another, ooh, I'm gonna say another one of these awful, not very good quality, or I don't know, I just don't like these wipe things that Kaiser makes. They're a little coarse, but it's black instead of the usual gray, and it's got the srk-c logo. So I like this one. I've been using this one for a few things. Yeah, it's a bit ratty now, but now I've got one in black, which, yeah, pretty neat. I'll hold on to that one too. Got some stock photos of knife manufacturing. Here's somebody with some protective gloves working on, I don't know, grinding something maybe? Whole bunch of stock knife blades, grinding, more welding, yeah, pretty neat stuff. Nice photography, and then all kinds of other information. They sent some extra screws in a little baggie. That I appreciate. Makes this useful too. And you get a neat little kind of dog tag looking thing. It's a slab of the handle material with the Kaiser logo milled out of it. And it says rule number 9. I don't know what rule number 9 is, nor do I know any of the preceding 8 rules, or if there are more than 9. So anyway, back to the knife. It's got a very well-made deep ride pocket clip, fully recessed. The screws as well. That I like. That's what I meant when I said well-designed. I'd call that a medium-low amount of tension, which is fine for me. Not much else to it. You got the pivot screw, one spacer down there, and it's small enough that that's all it needs. And they even put the name of the knife on the blade, which I like. The Mini Bay. Oh, there was something else. It kind of rolled away. They give you a little bead, too. Made in that srk-c pattern. So, that's a thing. Although, the knife doesn't have a lanyard hole. Next, I wanted to show this knife, which I got at a huge discount. I'm not sure what the regular price is, but I got it for $15 from location 34F3-8. It was heavily discounted because the packaging is crushed. This is just the cover piece. Comes in a aluminum box, and it's just mangled to all hell. Yeah, I didn't care because it's what's on the inside that counts. Some of you might already see what I got. Oh, we got a couple of little catalog things. They both look the same. Oh, no, they're not. One is in English, the other one's in Deutsch. Magnum series by Boker. Care instructions, etc. Yeah, it's the mermaid knife. One of the higher end pieces of Mall Ninja kit. So it's a mermaid themed knife. You can see the mermaid waving at you, and then her tail comes around and becomes the flipper tab. Pretty neat design, in my opinion. It is not open assisted, so you do have to give it a little more oomph, but it will flip without any wrist. 7cr17 MOV, kind of a softy steel, but corrosion resistant nonetheless. I like the nautical theme. We have wavy lines down the handle scales to, represent water, I suppose. A very long pocket clip. Deep ride, not recessed. Doesn't stand off from the scale very much. I'd probably have a bit of trouble with this one. And there are some weight reduction holes in the blade that are kind of made to look like bubbles. So they just kind of went all in on the ocean theme. And it is liner locked. Lockup's pretty good. It's on nylon or Teflon spacers. A little bit stiff on the pivot, but a decent detent. Now, it is heavy. The liners and the scales are just solid blocks of metal, and the anodization gives it a very distinct look. So that is the Boker Magnum Mermaid knife. It's also discontinued, so if you were eyeing this piece, you might want to jump on that. next up, I bought this knife because it just looked kind of neat. I wanted to see what it was about. It's made by srk-c, which I knew them for a certain style of OTF that they make with a distinct actuator switch things. But this is not that. This is called the Minion, and it's little. So it's just a little OTF by srk-c. Now, they had these in a couple of different colors. I went with the black and satin look. Just kind of looking around it, it's basically a solid piece of steel milled out with for all the internals. But have a look at the bottom, and you have this kind of awkward, not very well finished looking block down there. The actuator switch stands off the top pretty far, so it's a little awkward in that way, but the action's just fine. I mean, it's not the smoothest, but for a cheap little kind of shoddily put together looking OTF, I've seen much worse. Not exactly sure what it might look like on the inside. There's just two little flathead screws, one on each side in different positions, holding the whole thing together. I'm kind of curious to take it apart. Maybe I will sometime. Anyway, I don't like it. It's so light and cheap and shitty. I think this is a $15 knife. I paid $50 for it. I did not know what I was getting into, and I regret the purchase, but now I know. Kind of a neat look, though. This kind of brushed all metal bottom. That I like, but there's something weird going on with the blade play. Now, I know, unless you get a deadlock, pretty much all OTFs have play, but watch this. So you push it to the left, and it goes pretty far. You go to push it to the right, and it doesn't move at all. So, like, all of the play is just in the one direction. Well, there's a little bit of back and forth, too. So, yeah, it's a cheap, shitty thing that wasn't cheap. Mini Automatic by srk-c. Or no, that's not what it was called. Yeah, whatever. And I got this one also for a discount. It's a fixed blade knife made by Cold Steel. It was discounted because it didn't have any packaging or anything. I paid $20 for this. They said it was a return, but they couldn't find anything wrong with it. So they were like, whatever. We'll just sell it for $20. It's the srk-c, C for compact. Taiwanese made. It's got a pretty rough finish to it with this nice black coating. It kind of gives it a real solid feel, almost like an SE knife. I'm not sure what kind of steel. SK-5. Yeah, I don't really know much about this knife. I just saw it, and I saw the price tag, and I was like, I want that. It's got a nice rubbery grip. I don't suspect that it's full tang just based on the weight. It's probably rat tail, I'm guessing. And you got a lanyard hole. Hey, I can put that srk bead on this thing. Check out the sheath. It's pretty solidly put together, and I looked at a couple pictures online, and whoever bought this thing actually moved where the sheath bolts in. You can position it into any of these three spots. They picked the lower spot, which makes the snap come kind of low on the blade, and the handle sticks out a little bit, but that's fine. I actually prefer that. Thank you, whoever did that for me. And it's one of those molded Kydex style sheaths that has a neat sound when you push it in. Cold Steel makes a whole bunch of srks. This is one of the more budget-friendly ones. Different sizes, different materials. I dig it. And finally, a knife that I've been wanting for a long time. I'm glad they had it in the warehouse. Specifically in section 4-A-3-3. Randall's Adventure SE. I've been kind of pining for an SE knife for years. I just never got around to it. It's a big box. It's got some survival tips on the back, because this is one of those companies that makes things with actual survival in mind. I won't go through the whole back, but I'll hold on to it. Maybe I'll go through it later if people want me to. Yep, I got the Izula. I got other stuff in here too. So that's everything in the box. Here's a little pamphlet with some of their Izula models. The Izula 2, which has scales on it, slightly different size. And this is the Kendiru? Don't know much about that one. It looks a little smaller. Not so much swell in the handle. And you can actually buy these with a kit, which just has more things in it. Paracord, cord lock, flint, stuff like that. There's instructions on how to wrap paracord on the handle if you want that, and some other useful instructions. I did not get the kit. I just got the basic knife with a couple of accessories. Well, you get this nice shiny card. Jesus. Roommates are loud today. Certified instructors, licensed and insured. I got some more outdoorsy tidbits on the back of this card, and it's a proper, laminated plastic kind of deal. So you could put this into your wallet. Just a rubric of short-term survival tips. Some conversions. 1 meter is 3.28 feet. And we got stickers. We got the Randall's Adventure Training Skull and Cross Knives. School of Survival. Yeah, I will add that to my collection for sure. I might already have one of these, come to think of it. Might have gotten it out of a SMKW box. Or maybe it was the Ontario Rat Company, or Ontario Knife Company logo. Ontario Rat Company. That's funny. Well, they've been around since 1997. In this bag, we get another one of these cards. Slightly different. And we have a clip for the sheath with some screws, or bolts rather. I really like the sheath on this thing. It's shiny and it's got a cool pattern on it. I fell in love with this thing the first time I held it. Of course, I had to get it in JJ Jinx Orange. It's got a picture of an ant on the blade, which, or maybe that is an Izula. I'm very uneducated on this subject. Well, that way if you drop it on the ground, the stinging insects will recognize it as one of its own. Serial number maybe? I know a lot of people wrap these in paracord, and you can buy aftermarket scales that kind of bolt in the space in between, kind of like the Izula 2. But, and I wanted to do that, something like that, but it is surprisingly super comfortable just the way it is. It looks so simple, but it is so comfy. I love this knife. It is going to be one of my favorites, I think, going forward. I would like to pick up an SE, probably a 3, maybe in Venom Green, and that might be all I need from SE. Those might be my SE grails. And listen to the snap when you click this thing in. Yeah. I really do like this thing. Can't wait to give that some battle scars. And then there was all the freebie stuff that they threw in. They gave me this little bag labeled Wee Knife, Civivi. It's a Civivi logoed bead with a wrapped paracord lanyard. So, yeah, that's a nice little freebie. Bunch of stickers. They give me a Blade HQ sticker with a knife sticking through a beehive and a bunch of honey coming out. Kind of looks like a K-bar knife. And they got the Blade HQ logo in the middle. That's interesting. I don't know the story behind it. Bee prepared honey? I don't know. Maybe that would be like a 1950s Chevy, perhaps, with tin cans hanging off the back, which is a thing that boomers used to do when they got married. But they weren't getting married. They just bought a knife. And the license plate says Blade HQ. So does that mean that they're sovereign citizens too? And finally, nice. Oh, I'm not done yet. They give me a Kaiser lanyard with a little sprung clippy thing. And there's the logo on the other side, just a black nylon strap. It's, you know what? That's going on here. There. Looks like it always belonged. And finally, they gave me these dice. They are themed after the Dessert Warrior pattern, which is basically a Simpsons donut. There's a couple of stickers in there, just the Blade HQ logo and the Dessert Warrior motif. And behind that, it looks like a Benchmade butterfly. Oh no, it's a fly. Okay, so this is made by Flytanium, so it's their logo in the Dessert Warrior style. Neat thing about these dice is that one is the actual donut. I like the coloration. It's kind of vaporwavy now that I'm looking at it. But anyway, I'm going to keep this in the package because I don't know anything about it. I didn't know they made dice. So if this is like a promo, it might be worth something because people love these Dessert Warrior things. And I don't really have a need for dice, so I'm just going to keep it in the package. So that was everything I got from my impromptu trip, which included a stop at Blade HQ. A lot of these things were on sale or marked down so much that for all of the things here, I paid less than $200. I think it was a good day. Now I gotta make a video about all the truck stop knives that I picked up, and there are quite a lot. Stay tuned.